Thanks for joining, everybody. Hello.
Yeah, hey guys, gonna learn all about kittens today, rescuing kittens. So,
And feeding them, and caring for them,
yep,
what to look for.
what to do. Thank you for joining North Brooklyn Cat. Thank you for following.
Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for joining. Everybody's with us.
3 o'clock,
We have
we'll start talking about kittens. Yeah, this is Monkey. This is Monkey.
I like the before when they're kittens and what they do when they're older. They sleep.
Yes, lots of playtime when they're kittens, especially at this age. We're in the very, very big age of starting to really romp and play and pounce and jump. It's
Thanks for
exhausting.
joining. It is. Lots of work. They're up, they're hyper, they have to be fed very often.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Your tunnel won't stay up, will it? You gotta get in there.
Well,
Well,
everybody, thanks for joining.
thanks for joining, guys. Come on over. Stick with us. We've got lots of good information about raising kittens. So,
Two. Take it away, Teresa.
all right, so this is Monkey, guys. We started this live. Let's see if she'll sit still long enough. She's like, I'm gonna get you. Yes, yes, she's in a very playful one. So this is Monkey. Monkey is one of 5 kittens that we helped somebody wean. They are bottle babies. Bottle babies mean that they need to be fed by someone other than mom. The mother of Monkey's siblings. Monkey's siblings were I think they were 2 weeks when we got them. They're 2 weeks older than Monkey. Their mother was owned by a lady who she actually, the mama cat died. So she was stuck with these 4 kittens, and she needed help. She's like, I can't feed them, and I don't have time to feed them enough. She had a full-time job and all of that stuff. And so we took on to help her with that. And then she gets a call of somebody saying, hey, who took your kittens? Because I need help with a kitten. So that's how Monkey came to us. I told her that we would go ahead and take Monkey, even though she was 2 years younger, or 2 weeks younger than they were. When we got the phone call about Monkey, they said that she would not eat from a bottle. They said that she was starving. Where you going, baby? And they said that she just wasn't doing well. And so I said, well, bring her here and we'll do the best we can to help her out. And I will talk a little bit later, but that wasn't the case. She wasn't starving. They said they couldn't find Mama Cat, and they found her in a boat. So anyway, that's Monkey's story. That's how we got her. And actually, Monkey will be going home to the other lady with her siblings today. So after our live, we will be taking her home, and which is actually the best thing for her. Although we would love to keep her, she, look at you being so cute. Stop that. You're so cute. She being raised with siblings is the best thing for her. She can jump and play with them. She will learn from them, and we know she'll be taken really good care of. So that's Monkey's story.
Monkey has a big day today.
She's got a big day today. Not only is she debuting on TikTok, but she also gets to be back with her siblings who she hasn't been with in about 2 weeks. They went home because they were fully weaned, and we're sending her home because we think she's ready. So.
Okay. Oh, make sure you get lots of pics with their little siblings. That'll be fun to watch and see.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
Guys, we were gonna talk a little bit about rescuing kittens. So Gina, let's start off about what happens if you see some kittens in the wild, you don't see mama, what should you do?
Okay. So I address the situation. First, I sit back far enough away and observe. If Mama Cat is not around and I've noticed Mama Cat hasn't been around, I will go up to the kittens, the babies, and assess them. If they look ill, sick, like if their ears have ear mites, if their eyes are all gunky, if they're too cold, by checking their paws and their gums. If their gums are cold in their paws and they're cold, then of course, with those signs that they're in danger, I would then pick the kitties up, put them in a box, and bring them to my place. If they look healthy when I approach them, they look warm, they look fed, I will stand back and wait to see if I can see Mama Cat. Mama Cat usually will not leave her babies for very long, not long at all.
So
So
how long would you say?
From what I've witnessed in the 3 rescue litters that I've taken care of, Mama Cat doesn't stay away longer than 10 minutes. She'll go use the restroom, grab food, and then runs right back. If they're gone long, if the Mama Cat, I seen one out of the 3 litters that I've rescued, the Mama Cat didn't come around at all. I waited 3 hours, no Mama Cat, so the baby's no,
So
I
what if
didn't get longer than 3 hours.
Okay. Okay. So I know originally we had talked about coming back if the kittens are okay at that moment, coming back in a few hours. The most you would wait would be 6 to 12 or
Oh, yeah, depending on the weather and the temperature. 6 to 12's pushing it. I've waited 6 one time, but I've honestly never seen Mama Cat be gone longer than 10 minutes. So it's up to the discretion of the person. I'm an anxious person, so I try to sit back as patiently as I can, but I do know mama cats won't be gone from their babies very long. So an hour to 3 max. If I don't see mama cat in 3 hours, I'll go get the babies. But then I will return to the scene, or I could stay at the scene with the babies in a box and warmth and blankies and start really assessing them. And when they start crying, that can draw mom's attention.
Yep.
If I stay at the site with the babies, if mama still doesn't come around another hour, another 2 hours, then yeah, I'd bring them to my home. But I would still keep going back and checking for mom because mom will start looking for her babies. I would say 6 to 12 hours after you've brought the rescue kittens home and you still don't see signs of mom looking for them, then I would say mama cat's unfortunately not coming back. Then I know I would then be responsible to help feed and care for them.
Okay. Okay. First off, we do want to say, and we're going to say this throughout, we are not veterinarians. We are not experts. We are, we're just 2 people who have rescued some kittens and quite a bit. And we just want to share the tips and tricks we have. But we always will recommend if you can get them to a veterinarian clinic. Do the best you can to make sure that these kittens are healthy and happy and all of that stuff. So with say you have the kittens, mama is not around. Obviously, we want to mention that if there is a mom, the best thing you
Yeah.
could probably do is try and trap her.
Yep.
If you can nourish mom, then you nourish the kittens. Otherwise, if you don't nourish mom, then you will have to nourish all of those kittens.
And
Um,
yeah,
thank you.
one litter. Sorry, Teresa. One
Thank you,
litter that I did
Kitten.
have, I had a kennel and I put the babies in the kennel. And mama came and got right in the kennel with the babies. And that was the best case scenario.
Yep.
And then that's when I could take that litter up to, in my county, Utah's county, take them to the animal care.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Texie Mom, for the cat paws. She sent up some cat paws. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for the likes. We appreciate it. Ow, monkey, that's my food, silly girl. Okay, so all right, so we have caught the kittens. Mama's not there. Now we need to determine what's going on with them, what kind of state they're in. So I'll let you start, Gina, with that.
What I first do is I check their eyes. I wipe their eyes down if they're gunky with cotton balls, warm water. I look at their ears, clean their ears out, check for ear mites. I check their temperature, their gums, and the coloring if they're dehydrated. If you lift up the scruff of their little kitten necks, if the skin of the scruff stays sticking upward, they're dehydrated, or if their
Yep. So
gums.
you would do something like this. You would lift their scruff, and if it stays up, it would be. If it snaps back, then they're just fine.
Yep, and if their gums are a normal color. So I assess them, clean them, and then try to determine the age they are, but that's sometimes really hard. But if they're really teeny newborn, you can tell if their eyes are open or closed, if their ears are up or down. And then I assess that, and then I start bottle feeding.
Okay. Some of the things we talked about beforehand was just making sure also that they're not covered too badly with fleas and ticks. I know in Utah it's not that big of a problem, but here it's a huge problem. Fleas and ticks. So yeah, just checking them for ear mites and all of that thing. Gina, you got some information about when not to feed a baby.
Yeah, if the kitten is cold or overheated, if you feed them, it will overdrive their system, and that can really hurt them. So if the kitten is too cold, you need to warm them up first by wrapping them in a blanket and putting them up to your body heat, heating pad on very low temperature. Get the babies warm. If they're overheated, you can cool them with a cool wash rags and wipe their bodies with the wash rags and get their bodies cooled down before you feed them. Too hot or too cold kittens, feeding them will hurt them. So once they're warm or cooled down, then you can begin feeding.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you for that information. North Brooklyn Cat Center Rose. Thank you guys. We appreciate these gifts. Okay, so we're going to go through a little bit of information on how to tell the age of a kitten when you rescue. So if it's under a week, the kitten's eyes are going to be closed. Their ears will be folded down, and they can't walk yet. They can, however, purr and make tiny noises. Their umbilical cord may or may not be visible still. So, Gina, how much at 1 to how often did you feed an under a week old?
Okay, so under a week to 1 week old, you need to feed the kitten 9 to 12 times a day. That ranges to every 2 to 3 hours at newborn to 1 week.
Okay. So their eyes will not be open at that point. Monkey won't stay still, so I can't. And their little ears will be folded. Okay, I'll put you down. Okay, so at 1 to 2 weeks, they should be about 8 to 11 ounces. Their little blue eyes will start to focus and open. Their ears will begin to unfold, and they'll start to crawl, snuggle, and knead. So how often do they need to be fed at 1 to 2 weeks?
At 1 to 2 weeks, their body weight should be at about 7 ounces, and they need to eat 7 to 9 times a day.
Okay, so that's about every 3 hours.
And the formula, I was going to suggest this as I'm reading feeding. The formula, either powder formed or liquid, and just follow the instructions on how to mix up the formula properly, because they all differ.
Actually have some here. This is what we use for Monkey and her siblings. We got this at our local farm store, and they also have it at Walmart. They have KMR. They have this They have different stages. We always get the powder because it's easier to it lasts longer, and I can make up as little as I need or as much as I need. When I had 5 kittens, I was making quite a bit of it. I don't have to make as much with just having Monkey here. So okay, so 3 weeks. Let's say they're 3 weeks old. Their eyes and ears are fully open. They're standing up. They'll respond to noises and movement. They'll start to take their first wobbly steps, and they should have or be getting their baby teeth. They should start to come in at from 3 weeks on. This paper says about 7.5 to 14 ounces for a 3-week-old.
Okay. So age 3 weeks old, the body weight should be around 10 ounces, and the feeding times per day is still at 7 to 10 9 times per day at 3 weeks old.
Okay. Yes, thank you guys so much. Okay, so at 4 to 5 weeks, they're going to start acting like kittens, running, playing, digging, and pouncing. We do believe that Monkey is between 4 and 5 weeks right now. They'll start to wean from mom or the bottle, and they're able to lap up formula, eat soft food, and even use the litter box. They've grown out of their baby blue eyes and will have their adult color. So Monkey still has her blue eyes, so we think she's going to keep those.
They're so beautiful. Okay, is the 4 week of age. The body weight should be around 13 ounces, and you can go down to feeding them 5 to 7 times a day. And I did read that once they hit that mark, you can start introducing feeding the baby formula with a spoon to start weaning them from the bottle.
Okay.
About 4 weeks to 5 weeks when you're trying to wean them from the bottle, introduce them with the formula with a spoon, because they can. When I've had the rescue kittens, they drown themselves in the bowl of formula on the ground.
Yeah.
So before I'll use a spoon. Or you can get like a cap off of a water bottle or a pop bottle, and they can like lick it out of the cap of a pop bottle.
Yep.
To start. And it did say to, at the 4 to 5 week mark of trying to wean, actually the 5 weeks, sorry, Teresa, to jump ahead, but at 5 weeks, it's 5 to 7 times a day when you feed them. But then you can start mixing the formula with some wet cat food and mix the wet cat food with the formula, and you can start introducing them to food.
Yes. And what we do, we have some rescue friends that told us all about actual baby food. This is Gerber baby food. And this is the chicken or the turkey. They said don't use tuna. I know a lot of people would want to use tuna because it's a cat, but tuna messes with our digestive system. So what we use in between formula and hard food, like pate and hard food, is baby food. So I will mix this with the formula and put it in a bottle. And I put it in these I use mason jars. Are you showing the mason jars off, Monkey? So I'll put one jar of this and maybe a fourth a scoop of formula, and then all the water that goes with it. I'll put one of these of water, and 2 things of the same amount. So formula is 2 to 1. So you're going to use two things per water per 1 thing of this, no matter how much you use. So if you use half a cup, it'd be half a cup of formula and a whole cup of water. So then I mix that with this and some more water and put it in the bottle and start that to give them a little bit more. That's in between the formula and the pate, which is what the next step would be, the pate. So
I like the baby food jar too. Like you could rinse the jars out, because I know when you open the canned food and you waste. So yeah, the jars with the lids, it's so much easier once you get it pre-prepared, and then you can put the lid on and keep using it out of that jar. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think the best way to do the powdered is to be able to shake it because it will settle. And so you need to reshake it. And so we started using Mason food jars because then I can just shake it really well and make sure it's, really good mixed up and all of that stuff. As you can see, Monkey can lap her own formula out of a bowl now. But we did start with the bottle. So let's talk a little bit about bottle feeding because it's a pain in the rear if you don't know what you're doing. And even if you do, sometimes for Kitten, it can be really hard to bottle feed a baby. So let's talk about some of that.
Okay. So I do know when you first get the bottle, the nipples usually do not come with a hole already in it. So you have to make the hole. So that's, yep, great. And then what I would do to get the hole is I get like a safety pen size and then heat up the safety pen and poke a hole or a needle, a few needles to make the hole. I do know when you tip the bottle upside down with the warm formula, lukewarm formula, you want it to drip, a slow drip to feed them with. If it's like pouring out of the hole and they're really little, it will drown them.
Yeah, I'm showing it now. It will drip on its own, but you can put pressure on it to get a little bit more if you need it. But yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah,
And
this
then,
is a longer bottle tip that we found that we really liked. Monkey really responded well to this one. So, yeah, you know what that is, don't you? Sorry, Gina, go ahead.
fine. And then I came across some kitties that chew the nipples, and so then I would use a syringe when they were stubborn and wanted to chew up the nipples and stuff. So I'll use a syringe and just kind of put the syringe in the side of their mouth, on the side of their tongue towards the back, and very slowly squeeze it into them and let them lick it off of the syringe with no needle. Syringe with no needle. You can also feed them if the kittens like to chew nipples.
Yeah, so I'm going to demonstrate here. I think it's important that people understand kind of where we go. So when we got Monkey, she was obviously a lot littler. One of the things that I like to do when I feed a kitten is to wrap them up in a dish towel. And then I kind of put the towel underneath there. We want to keep the murder mittens away. So you kind of want to wrap them up and then you want to hold them in an upright position. You never want to hold a baby kitten upside down. They could choke. So with the bottle, if y'all can see this good enough, with the bottle, she may not be hungry. So we would put the bottle in and then just let them, she's not really hungry right now. So she would take it and then she could suckle on it. Now with a syringe, we had to start syringe with a couple of ours. You just take the little part and you put it on the side like she said, and you slowly, drip it into the mouth. And depending upon the bottle tip, like she said, some of them they'll all, when they get to this age, they'll all will chew the nipples. So we don't bottle feed longer than they need to because they will tear up the nipples. And you like to hold when you get a nipple the right way because sometimes it's hard to get because you have to poke the holes. Sometimes you'll get you want to hold on to it. So yeah, you want to keep that kitten upright. You never want to put them on their back. Keep them upright, and as much as you can, wrap up that. And this is really good because then you can dabble at their mouth a little bit, but try to keep the murder mittens underneath the towel because that's a good way to.
It is so true.
You're not hungry. No, you're not.
So that was
they'll tear you up if you don't wrap them up.
Oh yeah. When they're babies and they need them. That reminds me. I read that and know from experience after the babies are fed and stimulated through feeding is the time that you would need to stimulate them to use the restroom. And that's not over to you.
Okay, so Yeah, when we got Monkey, remember I told you guys, if you were here, that they told us that she was starving. They said that she wouldn't eat. They couldn't get her to eat from the bottle, and they thought it was just bad. Well, I took one look at her, and I knew pretty quickly that she wasn't unhealthy. She wasn't really skinny. She wasn't dehydrated. I did the scruff test. But I did figure out that probably the reason that she wasn't eating was because they hadn't been stimulating her. And she at this point was 1 to 2 weeks. Um, and so I knew that she needed to be stimulated. So it's not a fun thing to do, but it is very necessary. So Mama Cat will help them go to the bathroom. And so you cannot just bottle feed a baby and not expect to have. Did you find the treats? Hmm? Yeah, I've got those in here. You weren't hungry for the formula, but you wanted treats. Okay. So anyway, we have to stimulate, and what you need to do is you take on their little bottom area. You take we use baby wipes, but you want to make sure they're not they're sensitive. You don't want to use them. You can use paper towels. Don't use anything with alcohol in it that will irritate the bottom. And you're gently going to wipe the area, both the rectum and the other part, to make sure that they pee. They should start peeing right away. And so when we got Monkey, she immediately needed to go to the bathroom. And we knew that's probably why she wasn't eating well for them, was because she was full and she needed to empty. And so I think it's one of the most important things to teach people is that it's not just about feeding them. You really have to make sure that they get stimulated to go to the bathroom. And I would say that Monkey fully started using the litter box. She started peeing in her litter box probably about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3, because her siblings were. But she did not poop in her litter box until I would say fully 9 months, so about 4 weeks. So we had to make sure to continue to make sure she could go to the bathroom. And it's not a fun process, but it is important.
Very important, yes.
You
And
have
usually when I would have to stimulate them in the restroom, you take down and put them under very, very lukewarm water.
yes.
Stimulate them and you can rub them with, I would use warm, wet paper towels, kind of coarse, or
Gina, I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. Thank you.
Sorry. So I would stimulate them as you would say. We would run them under their little bottoms under some lukewarm water and be rubbing them with like a wet paper towel or a wet wash rag. I sometimes would use cotton balls.
Yes,
And
yeah.
that helps stimulate them to urinate.
Yeah,
And
for sure. Since we're talking about bathroom issues, I know you had some information on color of poop and like when to be concerned.
yes, with dehydration. So Harry, who's now 14, he was born on my porch, and when I got him in, let's see, I tried to adopt him out, but he wasn't doing well at the home that I adopted him out to, and then they brought him back to me, and I noticed that he had white diarrhea. So his diarrhea was like white, and that's a warning sign. I did take him to the vet, and that is a warning sign of dehydration if their diarrhea is white. So that so alerted, like alarmed me. I was so scared, but she at that time gave me, I don't exactly remember what brand of food to start getting because he was about 6 weeks when that happened. So my experience with dehydration and their fecal matter, if it's white,
Okay.
that dehydration.
Yeah. We had a kitten that we bottle fed, and the first 3 days I couldn't get it to poop. I was stimulating it, stimulated, and so we did a lot of water baths, like you were talking about, where we just kind of slowly ran the warm water and when you move a baby over, when a baby moves over from mama's milk to formula, they can get very constipated. Same thing can happen when you move from formula to your wet food, your pate, your even your baby food. Any changes in a cat's feeding will change the stool. So definitely want to just watch it and make sure that they are going. That's another thing about stimulating them is you are kind of up in there, so you know what's going on. And I wouldn't say to be concerned if there's a little bit of diarrhea, because we do have, like you said, when it changes food, you're going to get constipation and you're going to get diarrhea. So, like, it can be juicy, it can be, but you just want to monitor it. If you ever see blood in the stool, then you need to be concerned. And white and all of that. So, like I said, we're not veterinarians. We definitely say if you can take the cat to a vet, please do. Keep them monitored, make sure that everything's going well. That's my cat. That's my cat. I don't know who's.
They're not veterinarians.
Sean says that's my cat. Okay. Yeah. So make sure that they are going, and then if the constipation does not go away, or if the diarrhea sticks around after, I would say a week or more, then you might be concerned about the food. But if you're constantly changing their food amounts and their food types, then they're going to have responses in their bodily functions. So
constipation, yeah. And I jogged my memory that when you're trying to wing them onto the wet or dry food, both, to always at that point introduce water.
Yes, absolutely. When you're stopping the formula, a lot of times you can tell if a kitten is ready for the wet food if they're not just licking the moisture off of it. If they're just licking the moisture off, but they're not eating the food itself, then you need to be adding formula to their food and introducing water for sure. You do not want them to get dehydrated. So.
And from the looks of it, Monkey is so ready today. He is healthy. He is playing. He looks great.
She's a little annoying, yes. Okay, speaking of he and she, there is no way she's gonna sit still enough for me to show you how we can tell if she's a girl or boy. I will say that it is a little bit of a conundrum for me, as someone who does cat rescue and has had quite a few kittens. I still get it wrong 50% of the time. So we do believe Monkey is a girl. And I know, Gina, that you said, tell us how you find out if a kitten is a girl or boy, how you can tell.
Very gently, I'll explain this. To determine when they're really little is hard, but with practice and looking, fortunately, right below the anus, if you look, okay, there'll be a space from the anus. If it's a male, it goes right into their male part,
okay,
like with space in between hardly. If it's a girl, there's a large space in between the rectum and the girl's part. That's the best as I can describe it. You could probably do better.
No, I was told that a girl will have a teardrop shape.
Okay, a teardrop shape.
whole, and the males will have, you usually can tell after a couple weeks, the little testicles will start to stick out a little bit. Will you stop attacking my foot, please? Here, look, all these toys, all the toys. You have all the toys. So anyway, yeah, I think it's important to to know that it can happen. You can get it wrong. And that is something that obviously you can tell later when you get them fixed. But we do believe monkey's a girl, and like I said, it's something I've been doing for a while, and I still get it wrong. So I have friends that I know can look at a kitten and determine it really easily, and me, I'm just like, is that or is it not? You know, so
That was like with Bella when Bella was outside and ran in my house that day. I assumed when she was outside that she was a boy because the percentage of orange cats are always male, but that's not true. 20% are female.
yep, we have a good.
Finally looked. I was shocked when Bella ended up being a little girl, so I had to change her name to Tigger to Bella. Change on my post. Bella's a girl, not a boy. But I did. She was easier to determine that she was a girl, but it's still. Yeah, that was cute. That was a funny story. Tigger's a girl.
Yeah. We try to stick with food names just in case. That way, if we do have to change, it's not as big of a problem. Monkey just came to me whenever I got her. I was like, she just looks like a monkey. North Brooklyn Cat says years experience and I still get it wrong. Honestly, I think it's just something that, maybe it changes like on us. Maybe it is. Who knows? I think that like I said, nobody's perfect. It's really hard. It's hard to tell, especially like at this age. She wouldn't sit still for me, unless I wake her up. It would be hard. So yeah, it is. It does get easier the older they get to tell. Their parts get more defined and all of that stuff, at least for the boys. Okay, so I think we've covered a lot of stuff. I did want to go over, we've mentioned ear mites. Can you talk about how you clean, if you find ear mites, what does it look like and what you do for ear mites?
Okay. So I did have a litter of rescue kittens. All 7 of them had ear mites. And I personally used mineral oil. And you just put about 4 or 5 drops. We'll clean the ear out, and then 4 or 5. I use baby wipes. 4 or 5 drops of mineral oil in each ear, and let it. And and then you squish it in there and kind of rub it around, and then you let it sit in there because that smothers the ear mite. The ear mites can't breathe. And then you had mentioned that you'd use coconut oil,
Yes.
which I think is fabulous because the smell of that is delicious. So you can either use mineral oil, coconut oil, and then I did that 3 times a day, clean it out, new fresh drop, 4 or 5 drops in each ear. I'm not a professional, but that is what I did. And within a week, all ear mites were all gone, dead, out of their ears.
Yes. Yeah, and just keep cleaning it. Just make sure to clean out if there's gunk. You usually can tell. We've had more experience with ear mites with our rabbits than we did with kittens. We had a rabbit that just constantly got ear mites. She would be in a cage with another rabbit that never had them, and so it was very baffling on how she kept having issues with it. She'd get like sores and stuff, and so we would just. What I like about the coconut oil is it's solid when it's cold, and then it will kind of melt into their ears. So it's a little bit easier to apply. In my experience, it doesn't get everywhere as fast. It's basically it's the oil that smothers it, them, and then like you said, just keep cleaning them out and until you feel like they're all gone.
Teresa, like the coconut how it's thicker like that, and you can kind of just like rub it into their ear, and then as their ears are warm, it just kind of naturally with the warmth dissolve. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
stays in there.
Yes, it
Easier
melts.
to.
It melts. The heat melts coconut oil. So, yeah.
That's what I'll use again.
Yeah. Yeah. So if y'all have any questions, definitely ask us. And I meant to say that earlier. We would love to get questions, and if we can't answer it right now, we'll come back at you and try to answer it. What are some other things that you think you should have around, Gina, when you are raising kittens? What are some things you should have, keep, do?
Okay, so the kittens always have blankies, extra blankies I buy at Walmart, wash rags, dry towels, cotton balls, paper towels, baby wipes, the almond oil, that mineral oil for their ears if they have ear mites, of course your formula, either liquid or powder form, as you mentioned, jars with lids so you can pre-make it. And their box, when they get bigger to play, of course, toys, as you can see, monkey, hyper playing, lots of toys as they get bigger, preferably mama cat, but if it's just us, I would always buy bigger stuffed animals and put in the little box with them so they could snuggle up to the stuffed animal.
Yes.
Heating pads if they're really tiny on very, very low heat underneath the box, or if you have them up on your bed. Heating, that's just my preference. Kind of like a little incubator depending on the age. That's the top things on my head at the moment. What about you?
I like to use smaller boxes for litter boxes. When we have babies, so say they're a week or two old, I have those chafing dishes that are really shallow that you put the water in. We have a couple of those, or if I can't find one of those, then for the litter box, I use now 1 to 2 years old, they won't be using it. But when you introduce them at like 3 weeks old, sometimes they just can't get over the lip of those things. I've used cake pans before as their first little litter box, like just smaller. Obviously, I wouldn't make cakes in it, but you know what I mean, like an old cake pan from a thrift store. Because the sides are only like that tall, so you can just put a tiny bit of litter in it. And what I like when it's their first couple times to try and see is to not to put too much litter so you can tell if they're going, because you're going to want to monitor that and see. So obviously we can tell if she's used this litter box. I just cleaned it, so clean them often so you can tell what's going on. You can look and watch. I have friends who are rescuers that will not use regular litter. They use like the pine litter, and that's fine. That's your preference, whatever you want to use. The biggest thing is just to make sure that you're monitoring that they are going, because it's going to be a while between you get the time where you have to stop stimulating them fully, and then make sure that they are doing both in their litter box before you completely stop stimulating, for sure. Also, besides litter boxes, I like to get a lot of bedding and things like that, and blankets and stuff at the thrift store. Honestly, I don't think that you need to. We have a really small budget here because we're a private rescue, we're a home-based rescue. So whatever I can get at the thrift store, like those, I use old pillows for the cats on my patio, because if we spray on them, something that's easy to wash. You want to have something that, so your bedding needs to be easily cleaned, and it needs to be able to be washed, and you need to be able to keep them warm. So we have 2 of these. We have one of these like this. It came with a little pillow. and they could hide in it. And it was really good to have for the baby kittens because they were so young, to give them a space that they could be quiet and hide like they would at a den at home. If mom was still there, she wouldn't have them out in the open. She'd have a den. She'd have them hidden as much as possible. And basically someplace that they can stay warm, like you said. If you need a heating pad, I always just try and make sure that they have an enclosed space so there's not open air getting to them, and they can crawl out. And when it's time, we would always find them inside their little cages, or their little homes, dens, whatever. And then when I would call them, they would all come emerge out of their den, hungry and all of that stuff when it's time to feed them. So, go ahead.
And he's asking, it says, I'm curious about stud towel or the like brown spots on towel. Do you think they're talking about Monkey's towel, two-dimensional? Are you talking about Monkey's towel or one of Willow or Boo, one of my cats?
Light brown spots? Monkey doesn't have any spots, so it's not his tail.
Willow. And my kitty over there on the left sleeping soundly. Willow I got orange in her. She's a tabby, but Willow does have a long tail. She is mixed with orange, browns, so I would pretty certain her mama or daddy's orange. I don't know who Willow's mom and dad are, but yes, Willow does have a towel. And Boo over here, Boo's all black, no spots on him. My black cat.
We got a question here that says, how do you disinfect bedding? So I wash the bedding. Sometimes I'll do it every day. Like I'll have a series of them, so I'll have one I can re-put in. And I've used vinegar and baking soda and hydrogen peroxide in our wash when I wash the bedding. So.
Okay. And then I will just take the bedding and wash them. What I would do is just hot water with a little bit of bleach in the water, washing machine water. I'd put a little bit of bleach in the water. I would use a non-fragrant, hypoallergenic, not a lot of fragrance detergent.
Yeah.
So in case they were sensitive to things like that, cats can get allergies as well. Their litter box, I just clean with hot soapy water, with bleach water, and then dry them out real good and add litter.
Oh, I'm glad she asked this question because we didn't tackle baths. So for kittens, they do not have any protection from fleas and ticks and stuff. So you definitely want to be doing dawn baths for them. If they are in any kind of environment, that's one of the first things I do is give them a dawn bath, as long as they're not cold, is to make sure that I'm not bringing fleas and ticks into our environment. I use a flea comb. If you have a child's lice comb or something like that, that will work too, to try and make sure to get as many as possible. If you have a lighter kitten, they're going to have more fleas, which it's weird, but fleas are attracted to the white and the lighter colors. So we brought home on Sunday, no, today's Sunday. So yesterday, when was it? No, so sorry, Friday. We went to the city and I transported a kitten. This poor kitten had been through a lot. We were bringing it to another person who was going to watch it. And the lady who had her, one of my friends, had given her a dawn bath, but we brought her home and I knew immediately, she needed another one because she was very white, light colored, and she was still pretty covered in fleas. So that's a problem we have here. You definitely want to keep Dawn around the house. You will use that in disinfecting bedding, and you'll use that for baths. It's safe for them, and it will smother the fleas and help you get them clean. So,
soap is amazing.
Yeah.
The oil kittens.
Yeah.
Very, it's gentle on their eyes. We are not veterinarians. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So,
And you can get
how long?
stains and
Say that again. I'm sorry. You're cutting out, Gina. I'm having trouble hearing you.
I'll get my phone moved. Keep going. I'll figure it
Okay.
out.
So we are rescue if I rescue a kitten and I'm keeping the kitten to rescue our spay and neuter clinic will fix as young as 2 pounds. Now we don't fix usually that fast because we want them to be a little bit older. But we do recommend that they get fixed before 6 months up here. That's just something our veterinarians recommend and something that we try and hold on, let me see. I'm trying to flip my camera. That's something we try and do to make sure that they get fixed. Somebody's getting tired. It's about time.
Teresa, can you still hear me?
I can hear you barely.
Okay, I don't know why.
There's a lot of like interference. Like it feels like static.
I'm not sure why. I don't know what to do.
Thank you for the likes, y'all. Thank you, Ellis Cat, for the likes. So yeah, so we try and make sure that if they're going to be on ours, we will fix them before 6 months. Usually it's about 4 months that we fix because that's the age they have to be before they'll get the rabies shot. But our spay and neuter clinic will fix them as young as 2 pounds. So 2 pounds, depending upon, which I think is 6 weeks, which for me is a little young, but yeah, definitely just some other things that I make sure to have. This is a good thing that I remembered, is a kitchen scale. So I like to take a big bowl when they're that little, and I'll put them on the kitchen scale when I get them. And every week or twice a week, I will weigh them, and that way I can see if they're growing. So I want to make sure that they are growing. If I don't see any weight, um, if I don't see any weight growth, then I get concerned after like a week. But I weigh them kind of about the same time every day. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Teresa. Hold on. I'm going to get my earphones in.
Okay. I can hear you a little bit better right now. What's up, Mike? Oh, so Monkey's giving me kisses. And when she does that, usually that means she's getting ready for bed or she's...
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you really good now.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, but there's a little bit of static.
Teresa, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you.
Yes.
I don't know what the static is.
It's okay.
My house is very, very quiet.
We can hear you, though. That's all that matters.
Okay.
So, yeah, we were just talking about a kitchen scale. So I'll just take a big bowl and I'll put them in the bowl and weigh them about the same. She's getting hungry. That's how I knew, like, if she starts playing or whatever and she starts giving me kisses, that's kind of what she would do to Mom. She would start kneading her. They call it making biscuits, I guess.
Yeah.
And they'll start licking. That's when they kind of get hungry. It's a good signal. So, and then she would start.
Okay.
Let's see, what else?
Well, I have 3 people still following, but thanks for everybody that did follow and give us gifts. I so appreciate it. I hope you guys can hear me, so I don't know what's wrong. I have my air conditioner off, so how should we wrap up, Teresa? So if
Um,
you can't hear me, I don't have to scream.
no, I can hear you just fine now.
Okay.
The I don't know. I just also wanted to say thank you guys for watching our lives, and I know that both of us do kitten rescue and cat rescue, and we just really appreciate both of us are home based. We're doing the best in our community as we can. So thank you for the likes, thank you for the support and the gifts, and we just really appreciate all the people who
Yes.
support us here on TikTok. We're pretty new to this TikTok thing, and
We're
we
learning as we go.
we are learning. We just really
And
appreciate
that is
it.
Monkey.
This is Monkey. He's finally,
Bye, Monkey.
yeah,
He's going to go home to his brothers and sisters. We'll recap. Monkey goes home to his little siblings.
yeah, she's ready to go home.
She
So, yeah,
determined a girl.
we
She's so
determined
pretty.
she's a beautiful cat. So, we are gonna miss her around here so much. She's brought a lot of joy. But it'll be nice not to have to.
Thank you, two-dimensional cat. Bye to it. Thank you, everybody. I would like to say thank you too. Thank you, everybody, for following and all the gifts. And like we said, we're new to this. And I am Gina. I take care of the community cats outside, which I focus on through Facebook as well. I will be more. And my rescue kitties indoor, Willow, Harry, Boo. But thank you
Awesome.
so much, everybody, for joining us today.
Yes,
And thank
North.
you, Teresa, and good luck.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you. And thanks to North
Okay.
Brooklyn Cats who said they're trying to figure out TikTok too. Great info. Said she loved the info for the bottle babies. So awesome.
That
Well,
was great.
we're here. If you have more questions, message us. North
Yes,
Brooklyn Cats.
always message.
Yeah, and we would be happy to answer and help you out as much as we could. So we thank you so
Yep.
much. We're learning all of this together. So you guys have a
Yep.
fantastic day, and we're gonna head out.
Okay, Teresa. Talk to you guys later. See you
All right.
guys all later. Bye,
Bye, Gina.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
Boo. Bye, guys.
Bye.